ballast filling, and then you have the track, one of the track. The second one will follow just almost sequentially.
The minister also inspected the construction work at the mega station, 2 major stations and 7 minor stations.
I'm hoping by September, the major station will be out, finished in September.
The project is said to have generated about 9,000 workers on ground. Oyinaya Kaloka, NTA News.
Thank you, Oyinaya. Now, more communities and districts in the nation's capital, Abuja, have continued to enjoy the benefit of environmental mitigation and interventions from the federal government through the Ecological Fund project. Abdullahi Ajia reports that this resonates with the commissioning and handing over of projects in Lube and Uye communities by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa.
The 1% Ecological Fund provides for interventions in matters of environmental problems in all states of the Federation. In recent time, under the Buhari-led administration, the judicious utilization of the fund has benefited over 100 communities. Federal Housing Authority estate erosion control and 1.5-kilometer road improvement works in Lugbe is now completed, changing the story of anguish and disappointment for many years to that of praise for the government.
Having something to celebrate.
Before, there's no way. The bridge is full of water. But now, since they've done the bridge, water is moving normal.
Government officials did not mince words in reiterating their resolve to alleviate the plight of citizens irrespective of location and affiliations.
Having successfully completed this project, the living standard of the people in the community and its environment would be enhanced. This would, at the same time, reduce dangers to lives and properties associated with erosion and persistent flooding that had been experienced in recent times.
This project was initiated through a request for an urgent intervention forwarded to the Ecological Fund Office by the Lugbe community, and it was facilitated by the AMAC chairman.
Beyond the appreciation, you discover that a lot of commercial activities will improve.
Federal Government Boys College Uye Abuja now have cause to smile after the completion of a gully erosion and flood control works that had ravished the school environment before their intervention. With more resolve to affecting other communities positively, leaders, after handing over the projects to the benefiting communities, emphasized sustainability through ownership and maintenance. Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyama is assuring that Nigeria will not relent on its efforts to build a viable, safe and modern aviation sector, while signing the hosting agreement with the Banjul Accord Group Aviation Safety Oversight Organization in Abuja. The minister said Nigeria cherishes cooperation with international partners for development. Foreign Desk Correspondent Makul Simon Macham tells us more.
The Banjul Accord Group Aviation Safety Oversight Organization is responsible for enhancement of safety in the West African aviation sector. Although hosted by Nigeria, a formal MOU has not been signed until now. Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyama says Nigeria places aviation safety as paramount to the growth of the sector.
This document, this agreement, is moving in the right direction to further ensure that the political will and all the mechanisms and support are deployed by the government of Nigeria to play its part in helping to promote civil aviation safety in the West African sub-region.
Executive Director of the group, JAMB, explained that the signing of the MOU gives the group more stability to work effectively. Meanwhile, the minister has also met with the Vice President of the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, Aisha Mohammed, who wants to succeed Nigeria's Muyiwa Aliyu as ICAO President. The minister commended her credentials and promised to consult with stakeholders on her candidacy. Aisha Mohammed has been with the ICAO for 11 years and is from the United Arab Emirates. In Abuja, Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has observed that there is a disconnect between the elite and the lower class, and therefore appealed for closer ties to bridge the gap. This was at a pre-inaugural dinner organized in his honor by residents of Lekki in Lagos. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
We can't hold politicians alone accountable for our party. All of us must have a say in this matter, and all of us must be accountable about our country.
At every forum such as this, when the elite converge, the vice president never fails to remind them of the need to remember those at the lower rung of the ladder of the society. Here again, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is urging them to show more commitment by working with government at both the federal and state levels in order to bridge the gap between promises and performance.
Our country requires greater dedication of more of us than we have at the moment. Much more dedication to the critical issues of education, of healthcare, and all of these issues. To making sure that not only we hold government officials accountable, but that we are also up to date on the facts ourselves, that we are actually up to date. Because a lot of times, we don't pay enough attention to the real issues. We pay enough attention to ourselves and what comes up, but we need to pay more attention. Because the Nigerian elite is a small fraction of this country, very small fraction. But this country, if it goes anywhere, all of us will account for it one way or another.
The vice president says that the Buhari administration will not disappoint the people, as it is determined to make Nigeria greater. In Lagos, Jide Onifade, NT News.
The People's Democratic Party has been advised to stop involving the presidency in their current sponsored media smear campaign against the president of the Court of Appeal, Justice Zainab Bukachua. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says reports claiming that an agency of the government has of course indicted Bukachua of corruption is the latest of this sponsored campaign aimed at causing disaffection between the executive and the judiciary, the two arms of government that had operated smoothly under the present administration. While the PDP and its candidates are free to exercise their right to challenge the results of the 2019 presidential election, it is unacceptable to drag the name of the president or other organs of the executive branch into the campaign of character assassination. The PDP sometime back praised the verdict of the Osun Gubernatorial Election Tribunal because it favored them, but they are now singing a different tune because they lost the appeal at the appeal court. And that has led to continuing to blackmail and smear judges with the fake news stories. Well, Nigeria, he says, will be dealing with a situation where judges may be afraid to handle cases, thereby creating delays in the dispensation of justice. If the presidency had any influence on election petition tribunals, this story would have been different for the APC and of the ruling party. All right, now to other news. The Nigeria Customs Service Federal Operating Unit Zone D in Bauchi State has warned smugglers in the zone on contraband goods. Comptroller General in charge of the zone, Oluboyega Peters, stressed this while briefing newsmen on success recorded in the fight against smuggling for the past 5 months. Adamu Haruna has that report.
Unfolding the successes recorded by the Federal Operations Unit Zone D, Bauchi, within the period under review, the Zone Comptroller of Customs, Mr. Oluboyega Peters, says operatives of the zone made a series of seizures of imported rice, used foodwares and tires, with a total duty paid value of more than 42 million naira.
Having 250 bags here. Then the spaghetti too. The spaghetti, we're having 700 cartons. Spaghetti. Spaghetti in our CET is under 1902, heading 1902, while the rice is under 1006 in our custom external tariff.
The comptroller adds that the seizures were made following intelligence gathering, sharing of information, and doggedness of the officers and men of the zone.
If you cannot help to kill or suppress smuggling. Don't frustrate the attempts, the concerted efforts of custom officers in fighting it.
Mr. Peters also warns smugglers to desist from smuggling and engage in legitimate means of livelihood. The Federal Operations Unit Zone D, Bauchi, comprises 9 states, including Plateau, Benue, Adamawa, Borno, Gombe, and Yobe. In Bauchi, Adamu Haruna Adams, NTA News.
Now, after rigorous scrutiny of the 2019 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has released the results of candidates who registered for the examination across the country. Olain Kujo reports.
During the 2017-2018 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examinations, JAMB released the results within hours after the conduct of the exercise. However, the situation is not the same with the 2019 UTME. This is because JAMB took a month before releasing the results. 1,886,508 candidates registered for the examination across the country, with 1,792,719 candidates' results released. The board registrar said the delay was due to malpractices. These include manipulation of biometrics, impersonation, multiple registration, and deliberate disruption of exam process.
You know, we don't know the owner of the finger. We are identifying that this finger is in the following. And that finger is registered by a top person, one person that we pick among them. It may be finger of another person using that name.
Results of 32,120 candidates have been withheld, while those of 15,145 are undergoing further clarification to ascertain their real identity as identical twins or siblings. The JAMB boss said 116 CBT centers have been delisted or suspended from conducting UTME. And out of this number, 18 have been sanctioned by the governing board of JAMB for misconduct. Professor Oleide said, the deliberate delay by JAMB is to ensure that the right things are done. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
Thank you, Olainka. And in the studio with me presently is, of course, the registrar of JAMB, Professor Ishak Oloide. Thank you for joining us there once again. You were here last week with elaborate explanations on the delay of JAMB. But for now, I'm sure you have some things to share with Nigerians, especially parents and candidates who sat for the examination. What are those issues?
Thank you very much. The new development this year is that given the anxiety of the understandable anxiety of the candidates, we have said that in checking the result this year, what the candidates need to do, every candidate will just use the phone used for registration, the number used for registration, and send result, RESULT, to 55019. That could immediately, the results will come on his or her phone. So that is to ensure that there is no overcrowding or people rushing to either CBT center, cyber cafe, and so on. And we believe that by so doing, we are now set to commence the admission for 2019. And by the 11th of June, he will be holding the first policy meeting when institutions will be told what to do, particularly this year. We do not expect any institution to register or to ask candidates to bring photograph or to take another thumb fingerprint biometric of the candidates. We will make this available free to all institutions in order to block the opportunity, the misuse to which some of the candidates are making the opportunity of presenting fresh pictures, fresh hands and fresh personalities against those who took the examination. We make this available to the institution. So simply a candidate going with his resource slip will immediately be used. We have put in place infrastructure that will allow the institutions to check the results and cross-check the validity of the claims of the candidates.
Yes, we've just received a report that some candidates, who entered the code you just mentioned, can still not access their results. Yes, so what's the problem?
Yes, for MTN and Etisalat, for those two, we are aware that I understand they were doing upgrade. For those who are using Etisalat and MTN, I believe we are monitoring, and we know that there are problems. There are some, and we were assured that by tomorrow they will be able to do. But for other telcos, they are already working. And by the time I was coming in now, close to 600,000 candidates have checked their results, because we are monitoring the candidates, and that's why we are able to realize that some two telcos, Etisalat and MTN, had not, and we quickly asked what was happening, and we were assured that those who are using Etisalat and MTN, the candidates, they will get their results as soon as the needful is done by MTN.
Are you in touch with the management of these two organizations you mentioned with respect to this?
Yes. We have been assured, because I believe we wouldn't stop them from upgrading their system, and therefore it's just a coincidence. By tomorrow, we are sure, given our past experience, that the two telcos will make sure that students get their results.
All right. There are those, who start for this examination that had issues with their biometric, being were not able to be captured. So what's their fate?
No, the new ones have been addressed.
How do you now determine genuine ones?
Genuine ones, we have means of realizing those who are genuine. We monitor both online and on land. And we know that the genuine ones have been addressed. And we are sure that justice has been done.
Okay, what about those you have identified, as culprits, with respect to the just concluded, examinations?
Yes, we have withheld their results, and that's what we can say for now. We've withheld. When the governing board meets, it will decide whether to cancel some of the results that have been withheld, and some of them can even be released if we are sure that satisfactory answers. There is a category of these candidates that we have asked to upload certain things on the site to ascertain the genuineness of their claims, like siblings who are identical twins. The face will look like, even technology will not be able to distinguish. We are conscious of that. And when we have such cases, even if they have identical faces, they will not have identical thumbprints. And these are the steps we are taking.
All right, Prof, we'd like to thank you, for returning to our studio, to, of course, clarify some issues. And, of course, the result has been announced. Everybody is happy about that. We thank you once again for coming on Weekend File.
Well, I want to thank you once again. You are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you, sir. And I have been speaking with the registrar of JAMB, Professor Ishaq Oloyede. Yes, you are still watching Weekend File on the network service of the NTA. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated former President of Namibia, Dr. Sam Nujoma, who turns 90 on May 12, 2019, commending him for an exemplary life devoted to service to humanity and the noble cause of freedom. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu. The President extends a hearty congratulations on behalf of the government and people of Nigeria, as well as the people of Namibia, in celebrating a Pan-African hero for an exemplary life devoted to service to humanity and the noble cause of freedom. The President prayed that the Almighty God will continue to sustain the former Namibian President with longer life and good health. And now, availability of seeds is central in achieving food security in Nigeria. But how available are the seeds for the Nigerian farmer? Well, this is the focus of your Saturday tonic, the Weekend File. We'll be right back.
Life evolves. You should too. 3G is great. 4G is better. Buy an Airtel SIM to enjoy double data on Nigeria's widest 4G network.
Airtel, the smartphone network. The Honorable Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, announces a one-day dialogue on health humanitarian response in Nigeria, tagged Nigerian Health Humanitarian Response Dialogue. Date, Monday, 13th May 2019. Time, 11 a.m. Venue, Ladikwali Hall, Sheraton Hotel, Abuja. The event is aimed at showcasing the achievements of the Nigerian health sector in responding to humanitarian crisis in Nigeria. Participants at the summit include His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Honorable Ministers of Health, Finance, Budget and National Planning, Water Resources, Agriculture, Women Affairs, National Commissioners, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, the DG NEMA, amongst others. Mr. Abdulaziz M. Abdullahi, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
Munch it, what a tasty, crunchy feeling. Munch it, gotta munch it every day. Munch it, just give me that super snack. Munch it, so irresistible. Munch it, makes me wanna say one munch, two munch, non-stop munch. Munch it is here, irresistible. One munch, two munch, non-stop munch.
Try a pack of Munch It snack at 50 naira.
The management of the Nigeria Television Authority (NTA), Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria (FRCN), and Voice of Nigeria cordially invite the general public to the 14th edition of the annual Ramadan lecture, which will inshallah hold on Saturday, 18th May 2019. The topic is Tolerance in Islam, to be delivered by Sheikh Muhammad Nuruddin Lemu, Director of Research and Training, Dawah Institute of Nigeria Islamic Education Trust, Mina, Niger State. The venue for the event is Lumana Multipurpose Hall, River Road, Jabi Road East, Ngorimi Jari, Kaduna by 9 a.m. Under the distinguished chairmanship of Lamido of Adamawa, His Royal Highness Muhammad Barkindo Aliyu Mustafa. The chief host is His Excellency Malam Nasr Ahmed El-Rufai, the Executive Governor of Kaduna State. Royal Father of the Day is His Royal Highness Alhaji Dr. Show Idris, CFA, Emir of Zazzau. The host, Malam Yakubin Muhammad, Director General of Nigeria Television Authority, Malam Mansur Liman, Director General of Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, and Dr. Osita Okechukwu, Director General, Voice of Nigeria, Announcer Organizing Committee. You are welcome.
Abakaliki in Ebonyi State is widely known for rice production. But the concern, however, now is that how farmers there are accessing rice seeds to meet up the high demand of this local rice. Chika Okurie finds out.
In 2018, rice farmers in Ebonyi State were caught in the ugly web of cultivating less produce than expected, a situation that was attributed to poor quality seeds.
We will not make the mistake of last year again.
To address this challenge and meet up with the projection of 5 metric tons per hectare, registered farmers now have access to the federal government Anchor Borrowers Fund, while the state government seed testing laboratory, which has the required seed quality to enhance rice production, is now fully in use. Farmers believe that the recruitment of youth into seed production technology will further reposition the state to achieve the cultivation of not less than 658,000 hectares of land, using genetically improved Faro 44 and 52 seeds.
Encourage the farmers to source their rice seeds from proven certified seed agency.
We have just about 10,000 50 kg bags of rice we need to give out to
farmers in the Ebonyi State this year? I mean, certainly out of that, we're going to use quite a huge percentage of that in our own farm.
The Ebonyi State produces 1.2 million metric tons of paddy every year.
Hopefully, with the facility in place and the preparedness of farmers to deploy best agronomic practices, the cultivation of unproductive seeds would no longer be in practice, while high yields of this staple, which the Ebonyi State people are known for, will again re-emerge. In Abakaliki, Chika Ukore, NTA News.
To be calling pages for you. From the east, we move to the west, where Shola Wahid in the border tells us how maize and cassava farmers source seeds to meet up their farming activities.
Food is identified as the most basic of all human survival needs. Over the years, successful governments in Nigeria have formulated policies to favor the agricultural sector, with the present administration placing emphasis on its sustainability. To enhance growth in agriculture, production of high-quality seeds is fundamental to crop yields. This prompted researchers to develop a variety of seeds in all crops, with cassava and maize having over 100 species in white, yellow, and red colors. Cassava is versatile and applicable in many types of products, such as confectionery, biodegradable products, chips and pellets used for animal feeds, and alcohol production.
Farmers may go into the production of stems or going into the production of roots, and in this root they will have good yield. They have yield that can give farmers up to more than 25 tons per hectare, and a certain dry matter percentage of above 25% of dry matter.
Nigeria is the seed capital for West Africa, and NASC is developing to become the center of excellence for seed for West Africa.
If you want cassava to give you the yield you deserve, then you have to give that crop the environment and the attention it deserves.
Researchers say for Nigeria to actualize food security, government must put in place necessary facilities such as good road network, stability of power generation, eradication of multiple taxation, among others.
If you have a very good agronomist, you could pick part of your seeds and we plant for the next year. But it doesn't give you the yield as the ones you will get from the hybrid seeds.
To enhance food availability and security, researchers have developed several seeds in cassava and maize that could bring food to the common people and generate revenue for the federal government in Ibadan. Shola Wahid, NTA News.
Now, Jones Ajayi in Mina takes us to the National Cereals Research Institute, Badegi, Niger State, where about 67 varieties of rice, including 2 that are flood-friendly, have been released.
The National Cereals Research Institute Badegi, with the national mandate for the genetic improvement of rice, has been able to produce seeds for various ecologies. These are the upland, irrigated lowland, mangrove, and the deep water ecologies. As part of its efforts to also boost rice production, the Institute has released 67 varieties of rice suitable for different ecologies, including 2 new varieties that are flood tolerant. Under good management, the varieties have the potentials of producing 6 to 8 metric tons of rice per hectare for lowland rice compared to the 2 metric tons of the local seed. Presently, it is only the Institute that has the license to produce breeder and foundation seeds for farmers, agro-vendors, and seed companies.
NCRI has the capacity to produce enough breeder seed to actualize the self-sufficiency in area of rice production in Nigeria.
However, drought in upland and flood in lowland are some of the hindrances that is bedeviling seed production in the Institute.
Underfunding in NCRI in the area of seed production, because there is no any specific budget for seed production in the Institute.
Farmers have direct access to the Institute to purchase their seed, or due to distance can get their seed from agro-vendors and seed companies, as high quality of seed determines the quality of the yield. Jones Ajayi, NTA News.
And finally on this segment, Tina Toro gives us an insight into the situation of improved seeds in Kaduna State.
With a population of about 180 million, it has become even more pressing for Nigeria to look at innovations in the agricultural sector that will help boost crop production and help attain food security. One of such innovations is intensive research towards genetic improvement on crops, a task the Institute for Agricultural Research, Samuel Zaria, has taken seriously, which has given birth to varieties of seeds that are not just high-yielding, but also resistant to pests and diseases.
Seed is very important to agricultural production because seed account for no less than 50% of the actual yield you get in the field.
You can see now in the maize varieties, a lot of them are coming in for some as 50, some as 51, depending on the ecology to which they want to produce these varieties.
Availability of improved seeds has boosted the confidence of farmers that their hard work will never be wasted.
Per hectare, I can get the 70 to 65 bags.
Though these improved seeds are available in markets, sellers of this commodity complain of low patronage.
The villagers and the oldest farmers, they don't have awareness and of buying the hybrid seed.
Continuous research for genetic improvement of crops through improved seeds, experts believe, will help actualize Nigeria's dream for food sufficiency. In Zaria, Tina Turu, NTA News.
And when the program returns after the break, Ojo Philip Olusegun, the DG, Seed Council of Nigeria, will be addressing some issues on our desk tonight. For now, let's take a short break.
You know, from day one, Globe makes life easier. They brought us per second billing, unbelievable data packages, and even an optic fiber cable to make sure we optimize. There are two things in our lives we depend on daily: communication and information, voice and data. Whether you sell, buy, learn, teach, serve, or lead, it really comes down to those two things: voice or data. Today's world is all about you. You want what you want, how you want it, and Glow delivers. The freedom to use voice and data the way you like on every recharge. Easy.
Glow Yakata, the heavyweight voice and data plan. Recharge from 100 Naira and get a minimum 500 Naira to call all networks, plus up to 6 gigabytes of data to browse, chit-chat, WhatsApp and more. Dial *230# or buy your Glow SIM. Glow Unlimited.
Jennifer, don't tell me you're still looking for chapters for your expo.
What expo? I'm reading to pass.
Yeah, right.
I beg. We all know even if you study, the surest way to graduate in this school is to do a rejo.
Or better still, we hook the lecturers, Abby.
No. That's a thing of the past. I would not get a certificate I cannot defend. I would not be a burden to the nation or the society by fixing or buying certificates that does not add value to my life. This is the era of change, and change begins with me.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
And now with me in the studio is the Director General of the National Agricultural Seed Council in the person of Ojo Philip Olusegun. Good evening and welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you very much. Nice having me.
Yeah. Now, give us a sense of seed situation in Nigeria in terms of production, distribution, and accessibility.
Let me start by saying that The National Agricultural Council is the agency that regulates and coordinates the seed industry. And in Nigeria today, we have about 314 seed companies of various categories, large, medium, and small, including producer sellers. And most of them are in business. As of today, we have close to 80,000 metric tons of various categories of seed that are available. And when it comes to accessibility, the seed companies have various sale outlets out there, particularly in major towns and cities and local government areas. So as for availability, these are available. Yeah.
Now, in terms of access, do farmers have access to these seeds? Can they afford it?
I want to say that when it comes to accessibility, farmers, because farmers are very rational human beings, and they will want to go and look for seeds that will give them the best benefits. And because of this, farmers are able to access because of the economic benefit that's going to come out of their production, of the seeds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. Nigeria was sometimes said to be experiencing deficits, of quality seeds. There are seeds and there are seeds. We talk about quality seeds and just the seeds that cannot even withstand any form of attack, during germination and growth. And Nigeria is also known to be the highest supplier of seeds, in West Africa. So,
yeah.
Did we ever, or do we even presently have any deficits when it comes to quality seeds? And when we talk about these seeds, we talk about rice and other staples, that this country has relied on for a very long time.
I'm happy you mentioned that we are producing enough seed, quality seed for West Africa. Like, I want to put it on record. Today, we produce between 60 and 70% of quality seed being used in West Africa. So it's not going to be right to say that we have that of quality seed in Nigeria. The fact that there are some unscrupulous seed agents who are actually out there to shortchange unsuspecting farmers does not mean that there is that of quality seed. There are problems here and there because of some of these seedsmen that are actually shortchanging the farmers. But the council has a responsibility to go after these people and ensure that they are disciplined. Issue of sanitizing the market is the responsibility of the council, and we are actually up to the task. We are doing that to the best of our ability.
Now, rice has grown tremendously, in terms of production, output, almost in all parts of the country. And the present administration has been commended immensely, for engineering, new ideology in rice, cultivation. Yeah. And tell us about these seeds. We have rice from different parts of the country currently. What about these seeds? How did they come about these seeds? Because Nigerians are saying that even what we have in the market now cannot be sufficient, to meet the demand of local rice. So Nigerians, many have turned to local rice, from what they used to call foreign rice. And let's talk about the seeds, of rice today. What is the quality of the seeds that we have today, rice particularly?
Thank you very much. I want to tell you that the quality of rice seeds that we have in this country today, to the best of my ability, is good. The reason being that the varieties that are in use are varieties that have passed through the process. And we have seed companies that are producing this, and we have seed certification officers that have the responsibility of ensuring that what they are producing meet both the feed standards and seed standards. And we have seed inspectors who go around and ensure that it is the quality of what was produced from the farm that is in the market. But I mentioned to you too that there are some unscrupulous seed dealers that are out there who are out to shortchange the market, I mean the unsuspecting farmers.
Yes.
So, but generally, we can say that the quality of rice that we have in the market is actually okay. We have a lot of 44, a lot of other varieties that farmers are actually demanding because of the quality of what's available in the market today.
Now, we also hear about a rice that is flood friendly. Is that true?
Yeah, there are two varieties that have been recently released, Faro 66 and Faro 67. These are varieties that are flood tolerant, and they are actually out now, and farmers, particularly research companies, have produced them, and seed companies are actually picking them up in order to produce foundations, certified seed from foundation that's actually available. So they are available right now.
Now, what is the role of a research institute, in this connection, with respect to developing quality seeds? When you talk about seeds, we talk about the embryo, we talk about the cover and all of that, and some of these components, make up, quality seeds. And I know that Nigeria has many research institutes that are agro-based, right? So the quality seeds we're talking about, are they originating from research institutes, or are they imported from elsewhere?
Yeah, thank you very much. The research institutes have the responsibility of breeding varieties of seeds. And the council have a responsibility of ensuring and assuring the quality of what was produced by research institutes. And I want to say that these varieties cannot be said to be varieties until the council that has the third-party assurances that they are this and they are that. A breeder cannot categorically say that what is producing is breeder seed until the council that has the third-party guarantee says what is producing is actually a breeder, because of the responsibility, the law given to us to assure and ensure that what they are producing is actually certified. So this is the issue. So they produce, they breed these varieties, and they are released into the system, and the council has a responsibility of ensuring that what is actually released is maintained along the seed value chain. So that is the situation.
Is there any kind of, you've told us about a monitoring mechanism. Do you have a kind of testing, culture, a situation where you have to put to test, what has been released, by the research institute? Yeah. Before they get to farmers, because for you to now determine a quality seed, it must have been planted somewhere, must have been tested, and certified before farmers will be allowed to make use of that. Does that exist?
Yeah, let me tell you that the council have a mechanism of actually testing some of these varieties through grow-out tests. Grow-out tests are actually training grounds, are testing grounds whereby whatever that is produced, either by research institute, either by seed companies, either even by farmers who are actually producing seed, they are put into tests. We call them grow-out test plots, whereby we see the quality of what was actually produced. And it's actually a testing ground, and it's a training ground, and it's actually a situation whereby the quality of what was said to be there is seen to be there. Also, it's actually a situation whereby the council will look at the quality of work done even by breeders and even by seed certification officers before they are allowed to go to the market. That is what we do.
Good. Now, what about some seeds like sorghum, cowpea, cocoa? We learned that Nigeria is the largest producer of cowpea, for instance. Now, are there quality seeds for sorghum, cowpea, soybean, cocoa, and what have you? These are varieties, that exist in Nigeria. Yes.
Thank you very much. Let me tell you that the council have a group of officers called seed certification officers. Seed certification officers have a responsibility of ensuring that what is produced on the field meets the standards, particularly by accredited seed companies and seed growers. They have the responsibility of ensuring that what is produced on the field meets the standards, the field standards. And even after harvesting, they must meet the seed standards. And by seed standard, we mean laboratory standards. So they are the seeds that are available are actually good quality seeds that have not passed through the process. There are 6 phases of certification. They must have passed through the phases. But don't forget that there are unscrupulous
elements that you have mentioned a number of times. I believe you have a technique, to handle such unscrupulous elements, because when we talk about seed, you talk about food. When we talk about food, talk about the existence of mankind. And let me ask you this question. Farmers, especially the peasant ones, are still ignorant about the classification of seeds required by a particular soil. Is there any kind of science or technology, as the case may be, that says, look, a particular kind of seed cannot be planted, in a particular soil, because of the soil texture or whatever component, that may be at variant, with the crop?
We are going to another realm of science now, and you are talking in terms of extension. These are a group of officers that are actually out there to train, to tell farmers where to plant what crop. And unfortunately, because of the fact that the number of extension officers are actually very low now, that is actually a problem. But they have the responsibility of teaching the farmers and telling them where to grow what. But also, the seed companies have a responsibility also of actually ensuring that they attach leaflets to seed containers that will show farmers where to grow what. So this is actually part of what happens in the seed business.
Okay, are you collaborating with any international agency, agro-related international agencies like IITA and the likes?
Thank you very much. We are collaborating with a lot of international agencies. About 3 weeks ago, we had what we call Seed Connect Africa here in Abuja, and about 70 international seed agencies were invited into Abuja and to Nigeria. The first on the list is International Seed Testing Association. The Secretary General came, and we are collaborating with them because they develop standards for seeds and the rest of it. And that agency, have the responsibility of standards, and we are part of that agency because we have been accredited. Nigeria is a member of International Seed Testing Association, and our laboratory has been accredited. Also, we have a number of others. The OECD, Organization for Economic Development, that is one of the ones that we belong to. International Seed Federation is one of the agencies that we are aspiring to be member. And they were all here during the Seed Connect in order to come together and actually see what we are doing, look at some of the gaps, and see how we can move forward, because we have a responsibility as a council to actually ensure that we belong to all these agencies for us to be able to key into what is happening globally.
Thank you very much indeed. Good job, I must tell you. But more Nigerians need to know more about Seed Council of Nigeria, because of course, like we said earlier, that seed is the foundation of agriculture. And on that note, we'd like to thank you for being here and sharing your time and your thoughts, and of course your experience with us on the program. Thank you indeed. I've been speaking with the DG of the National Agricultural Seed Council, Ojo Philip Olusegun. We're glad you were here.
Thank you very much.
All right, now a peep into the busy world of sports when we return from this short break.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online, or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad. or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
And let's now join Olumide Eguntala on Sports Update.